Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest on this next interview. Now, as geopolitical tensions ripple across the Indo-Pacific, Poland positions itself as a bridge between Europe and Asia. The EU Indo-Pacific Forum, hosted at the University of Warsaw, highlights the region's growing strategic relevance in security, trade, and digital affairs. As China, the EU, and Vietnam recalibrate alliances, Europe is staking its claim in the region's future. Joining us today on TVP World to unpack these developments is Ambassador Tomasz Łukasiuk, research scientist at the University of Warsaw. As a seasoned diplomat and a former ambassador to several key Asian nations, Dr. Łukasiuk brings us decades of experience in Asia-Pacific affairs and EU external relations. Sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Thank you. Good morning.
So, can you first help us understand how has the EU Indo-Pacific strategy evolved in response to this raising U.S.-China trade tensions?
Well, we have the situation when for the last 4 years, first of all, the kind of trade war started between the United States and China first, and second, the war in Ukraine as well put a strong impact on the first of all, the sea lines of communication and food security of several Indo-Pacific nations. We look also at Indo-Pacific as a region when the free trade areas were introduced, like Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership in Indo-Pacific. So, and certainly the European Union is not there, so we have to think how to, let's say, recouple and not decouple from the region in economic sense, and how to leverage our economic and diplomatic strength.
Right, so we're looking at a lot of new dynamics being introduced, but what makes Poland a strategic venue for hosting this year's EU Indo-Pacific Forum?
Well, we have very good relations with all Indo-Pacific countries, friendly relations. What we emphasize, we never been a colonial power. What matters, and for us, it's like for the European Union, the soft power is important. But nowadays we are explaining that not only soft power, but in the context of war in Ukraine, also hard power matters, and that's why this interdependency and of security systems and this interconnectivity of several dimensions in security of both Indo-Pacific and European Union really play a very important role for Poland, European Union as a whole, and Indo-Pacific. We have the bulk of outstanding experts. I'm speaking not only about practitioners like me, but also the professors from University of Warsaw, from Jagiellonian University, University of Łódź, and several think tanks from Poland. But we also invited representatives of Australian National University, Keio University from Japan, from Malaysia, from Singapore, and not speaking about also the representatives of the leading universities in Europe. So altogether, I think that we spent 2 days on a very fruitful debate, and also finding good recommendations for the European Union and for Indo-Pacific, how to cooperate in a more, let's say, intensive and efficient way.
All right. And well, for someone with so much experience in this area, I feel like you're very poised to help us understand this dynamics within the Indo-Pacific nations. And do you think that the European Union can realistically be one of the balancing powers within the Indo-Pacific?
Yes, but of course, European Union, just if you ask me 5 or 10 years ago, we used to be the biggest trade partner for all the Indo-Pacific countries nowadays, as we perfectly know, is China to first place. But still, the European Union is not only development assistance facilitator, but also foreign investments facilitator. And what changed in approach of the European Union, we also organize, arrange, and initiate several operations to secure sea lines of communication. I mean, Atalanta, for example, we have also the programs of the security cooperation with ASEAN countries like Crimea and several others. So for us, it's also important to have cooperation in enhancing and upholding the rules-based order in terms of the international law. So it's also the part of the security system, and in all those areas I mentioned. So we are nowadays very active in the Pacific. So from our perspective, we are gradually becoming very, very important. I'm not speaking about the key actors, but very important actor in security area in the Pacific.
Right, you also mentioned that China is having a growing presence in the area as well. They're also increasing their diplomatic efforts in places like Vietnam, South Asia. What does that mean for Brussels? Is that going to be somewhat of a challenge?
Well, I mean, diplomatic activity is a challenge, but the European Union delegations are everywhere, in every country in the Pacific first. Not speaking about the diplomatic services of member countries. What we are active, we prefer, multilateral platforms. And this what we are now, when we are listening to the experts and the representatives of Indo-Pacific, they prefer multilateral, not unilateral platforms. The security system in the Pacific is fragmented through the sub-regions. So European Union is proposing something wider and overarching the let's say Indo-Pacific European Union security cooperation, also having in mind this interdependence of two security systems, and what's more, leveraging our economic impact. We are now intensified our talks with several countries of Indo-Pacific on free trade agreements. Just in February, we had the big delegation of commissioners coming to New Delhi and discussing, and we have, let's say, promising pledges to finish the free trade agreement, not only in India, but with also smaller countries by the end of this year. And we do hope that it will also help us to respond to the activities of China. I mean, in terms of the competition in both economy and security.
And speaking of Chinese influence in that area, I've just got information that she is actually visiting Vietnam, speaking of increasing its footprint there. What do you think the goal of this visit is? And do you think that it's going to ramp up even more emphasis on Chinese trade with these countries, seeing that they're currently embroiled in essentially a trade war with the United States?
Well, the visit to Vietnam, as also the strategic part of the United States, is a clear response to the tariff to the tariff announcement by President of the United States. But I think, knowing the spirit of ASEAN countries, it's always about the balance. And Vietnam, like other ASEAN countries, would never go for dependence on one pole of the balance. They always would like to seek the balance also in other big players like United States, like India or Australia in the Indo-Pacific region. And saying that, so what we heard from the Washington administration, so the Prime Minister of Vietnam was one of the first to call President Trump to suggest some solutions to the situation occurred after the announcement of President.
Right, so really back into this forum that's taking place in Warsaw, what concrete outcome or agreements are you hoping to see emerge from these dialogues, discussions?
Well, we have, panels devoted to the different areas of security. So today we start with cybersecurity, then we go to maritime security, energy security, also because we have to remember that the interconnection between Indo-Pacific and Europe is also the cyber interconnection, and we have to safeguard these connections. More than 90% of our trade is carried by sea, so it's also the maritime security matters. And last but not least, energy security. So how to protect our energy lines, and at the same time how to help the countries from the global south to introduce the Sustainable Development Goals in area of energy. I'm speaking about the green technologies which we have in the European Union at our disposal. So it's really the matter of the political will and the clear roadmap to introduce all those programs we propose to the countries of the Indo-Pacific.
All right, so when it comes to that political will in your own gauging, how receptive do you think these Asian partners are?
Well, I think that for them it's important to understand that there's a transformation of European Union from the civilian economic power into something which they actually expected. And for the last 25 years, as the European Union, the European diplomats, they heard that we need you not only as economic power, but we need you to increase the hard powerness in the region. So we are responding to it. Certainly it's a little bit slower than you would like to, but we have to remember that we are the organization of 27 countries.
So how to organize everything is going to be a very big topic going forward. Thank you so much for your input and insight. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. And thank you for watching this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.